Then, in the summer of 1977, two small, sturdy spacecraft lifted off from Cape Canaveral, Florida. Their names were Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. What began as a mission to explore the outer planets became humanity's greatest adventure. The first time we ever sent machines to leave the solar system behind and enter the vast, uncharted realm of interstellar space. This is the story of two tiny probes that carried the hopes of an entire species into the cosmic unknown. Long before they became interstellar travelers, the Voyagers were born from a once-in-a-lifetime cosmic event. In the late 1970s, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune lined up in a rare alignment that happens only once every 176 years. This alignment let engineers use a trick called gravity assist, using the pull of each giant planet to slingshot the probes faster and farther, saving decades of travel time and massive amounts of fuel. NASA designed two nearly identical spacecraft to take advantage of this window. Voyager 2 launched first on August 20, 1977. Voyager 1 followed on September 5, 1977, on a faster, shorter path that would let it overtake its twin. No one back then could have imagined these machines would still be operating nearly 50 years later, far beyond the edge of our solar system. Each Voyager spacecraft is about the size of a small office copy machine, but packed with instruments that revolutionized our understanding of the outer solar system. They carry cameras, magnetometers, particle detectors, and spectrometers, all powered by a radioactive thermoelectric generator, a nuclear battery that turns heat from decaying plutonium into electricity. This power source was built to last for decades, far longer than any solar panel could work, in the dim cold, far beyond Jupiter. Most famously, each probe carries a golden record, a 12-inch, gold-plated copper disc that holds sounds and images of Earth. It includes greetings in 60 languages, the sound of wind, rain, a baby crying, music from Mozart to Chuck Berry, and 115 photographs showing our planet, our cultures, and our lives. The record also has a map etched on its cover that shows Earth's location relative to 14 pulsars, so any intelligent civilization that finds it can know where we came from. The Voyagers are not just robots, they are messengers, carrying a piece of humanity to the stars. The first great chapter of the Voyager story was their tour of the outer planets. Voyager 1 reached Jupiter in March 1979, followed by Voyager 2 a few months later. For the first time, we saw Jupiter's raging storms in stunning detail, including the Great Red Spot, a storm bigger than Earth that has raged for centuries. The probes discovered faint rings around Jupiter and dozens of new moons, including volcanic eruptions on Io, the most volcanically active world in the solar system. Next came Saturn. Voyager 1 flew past in 1980, and Voyager 2 in 1981. They revealed Saturn's rings as a complex system of thousands of narrow ringlets, not just a few solid bands. Voyager 1 also studied Titan, Saturn's largest moon, with its thick, hazy atmosphere that hides a surface of lakes and rivers of liquid methane. After Saturn, the paths of the two Voyagers split forever. Voyager 1 was directed upward, out of the flat plane where the planets orbit, beginning its direct path toward interstellar space. Voyager 2 stayed the course, continuing on to visit the two ice giants no other spacecraft has ever reached. In 1986, Voyager 2 made history again when it flew past Uranus, the seventh planet, from the Sunday. It was the first and only spacecraft to visit Uranus, revealing a pale blue world tilted on its side with faint dark rings and 10 new moons. 3 years later, in August 1989, Voyager 2 reached Neptune, the eighth and most distant planet. It captured images of Neptune's vivid blue storms, including a large dark spot, similar to Jupiter's, and discovered geysers of nitrogen shooting from its moon Triton. With that flyby, the Voyagers had completed the grand tour of the outer solar system, a feat that will not be repeated for more than 150 years. But their mission was far from over. NASA extended their journey, renaming it the Voyager Interstellar Mission. Their new goal to reach the edge of the solar system and cross into interstellar space, the space between the stars, where the sun's wind and magnetic field no longer hold sway. To understand what it means to leave the solar system, we first need to understand the heliosphere. This is a giant protective bubble created by the sun's solar wind, a stream of charged particles that blows outward in all directions. The heliosphere wraps around all the planets, shielding them from most harmful cosmic rays from deep space. The outer boundary of this bubble is called the heliopause. Crossing the heliopause means leaving the sun's influence behind and entering true interstellar space. Before reaching the heliopause, the Voyagers first crossed the termination shock, where the solar wind slows down abruptly as it hits the denser interstellar medium. Voyager 1 crossed this shock in 2004. Voyager 2 followed in 2007, for years after they traveled through the heliosheath, the turbulent outer layer of the solar bubble, sending back data that taught us about the structure of our solar system's outer edge. Then came the moment that changed space exploration forever. On August the 25th, 2012, Voyager 1 made history. It became the first human-made object to cross the heliopause and enter interstellar space. At that time, it was more than 11 billion miles from the Sun, over 122 times farther from the Sun than Earth is. NASA scientists spent months analyzing data before confirming the breakthrough, but the evidence was clear. The density of particles changed drastically, and the probe was no longer measuring the Sun's magnetic field dominance. For the first time, humanity had touched the space between the stars. 6 years later, on November the 5th, 2018, Voyager 2 joined its twin, crossing the heliopause to become the second human-made object in interstellar space. Unlike Voyager 1, Voyager 2 still had a working plasma instrument, giving us our first direct measurements of the interstellar medium's properties. Two probes, launched in 1977, had now opened a door to a region of the universe we had only dreamed of studying. Today, both Voyagers continue their silent, steady journey into the dark. Voyager 1 is the farthest human-made object from Earth, traveling at about 38,000 miles per hour, away from the Sun. Voyager 2 is not far behind, moving in a different direction, toward the constellation Sagittarius. Their nuclear batteries are slowly losing power, so engineers have turned off non-essential instruments to conserve energy. Even so, the probes are expected to keep sending basic data back to Earth until around 2025, and possibly a few years beyond. After that, they will go silent, becoming silent ambassadors, drifting through the Milky Way galaxy for billions of years. They will never return home. But they will never truly be lost either. Long after their signals fade, the golden records will remain intact, preserved by the vacuum of space for up to 1 billion years, waiting to be found by some unknown civilization across the cosmos. The legacy of Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 is far bigger than science, data, or planetary photos. These probes remind us of who we are as a species, curious, brave, and driven to explore. They turned a small, ordinary planet into a world that reaches for the stars. In 1990, Voyager 1 turned its camera back toward Earth, taking one of the most famous images in history, the pale blue dot. From nearly 4 billion miles away, Earth appears as a tiny, faint speck, suspended in a beam of sunlight. The astronomer Carl Sagan, who helped create the golden record, said of that image, "Look again at that dot. That S here, that S home." That SUs, the Voyagers, did not just explore planets, they gave us perspective. They showed us how small we are, but also how limitless our ambition can be. We live in a time when private companies and space agencies plan to send humans back to the moon and onto Mars. But we should never forget the pioneers that came before, two small spacecraft, built with 1970s technology, that dared to go where nothing from Earth had gone before. The Voyagers are more than machines. They are proof that humanity's reach can extend beyond the bounds of our solar system, beyond the limits of our time, and into the endless sea of stars. As you watch this video, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 are still moving outward, every single hour, every single day, putting more distance between themselves and the Sun. They are lonely, but they are not alone. They carry the spirit of every person who has ever looked up and wondered what lies beyond. They are the first steps of humanity into the galaxy, and their journey will inspire explorers for thousands of years to come. The story of Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 is far from over. Their mission is eternal, to explore, to discover, and to remind us that the universe is not just something we observe, it is something we reach for. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.